Finders Homes is presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products on 1010 XL. Now your hosts,
Lauren Brooks,
Donna Murphy, and Blythe Plumley.
Hello, ladies. I am in such a good mood. Do you know why?
Because OTAs.
Because it's not actually raining right now.
Oh.
And yes, also OTAs starting today. They did have us in the flex field today because there was certainly a chance of rain. Please help me remember if it has rained like this other times in May, other years in May.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Really? Because I feel like we have a lot of sunshine this time of year. April showers, May flowers, and it feels like all it's done is rain.
Well, I don't know, but I feel bad for everybody up north who it was 49 degrees at the Sox game 2 nights ago. You can see their breath, so I will take this rain.
Point.
And we've had kind of perfect weather over the past couple months. I've just been waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it feels like it finally has. Now we're getting punished.
And I'm not trying to complain so much. It's more as you get excited for these high school teams playing in their state championship games, semifinal games for baseball, regional final games right now. They literally keep getting pushed back and postponed, and so I just want for them to be able to play these games without these rain delays. It's very difficult in softball and baseball to have these rain delays, but
that is true.
Hopefully we'll have less thunderstorms and more sun. All right, when it comes to Jaguars OTAs today, you guys didn't get to go out there, but did you see anything on Twitter that maybe caught your eye?
A little bit. I mean, honestly, like when I first hear about like OTAs, I'm like, okay, I mean, it's fine. Like, I don't know. I just don't. I find it hard to get excited for OTAs just because it's voluntary. No one's in pads until I started reading the reviews on Blake Bortles, and I'm like, okay, now this is getting a little exciting because apparently from Mike Kay, he said that he had a nice touch on the deep ball, and then Hayes said today or earlier on the Frangie show that was the best practice that he's ever seen him.
I will say I did not see one wobbly ball thrown by Blake Bortles. And for someone who used to criticize him a lot for not being able to throw a spiral, I was very happy with the way that he was throwing the football. And it's also fascinating to me to now watch the Blake Bortles who goes from the understudy, even though he was the starter, it still always felt like Chad Henne kind of was teaching Blake as he went along, to now Blake teaching Cody Kessler and Tanner Lee. And I think that really helps Blake. Not just has he been able to be in the same system now for a couple years, but also I think you grow when you teach others and train others on how to do something, because you can't really teach somebody else unless you've mastered the subject. You know, that's why I have great respect for all of my friends who are teachers. And now that Blake's in that role, I think we're going to see even better things from him this year.
I got no comment on Blake for day one. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do any backflips over, oh my God, there was. If your comment is to say, I didn't see one wobbly ball, that's not a good comment.
Well, and I'm saying that more because those have been the criticisms.
Right, I know.
But yes, as far as like how he looked great. He looks like he's in super shape. It looks like the surgery was something that we would never even known unless they told us. He was very accurate. There are certain things, you know, obviously we're not allowed to talk about specific plays and things like that during team drills, but as far as the overall, the reasons that Blythe read and that people are reading that Blake looked great is because Blake looked great. It wasn't just a going through the motions type of practice.
Yeah, I'm going to wait until the season starts. So,
and certainly
I feel you on that. Even halfway through the season, after he's been hit a few times and you know he has to throw a touchdown pass with 2 minutes left in the game, there's still those questions remain. But one foot is in the right direction into this next coming season.
I mean, the only thing that doesn't bother me is that Ramsey and Boye weren't there. Doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother me at all either.
No. And that's what I was going to ask y'all. If you were a teammate, would you look up, if you're, say, Calais Campbell, Malik Jackson, certainly guys who had excellent seasons last year, are veterans, they're there, would you kind of look over and go, I think they should be here? If you were a teammate.
I mean, Campbell has a little bit more of a different vibe within the team. He does take on that leadership role, and I think with AJ and Jalen, I just don't care because I know they're going to show up, they're going to be ready whenever the season starts, and that's all that matters to me. OTAs really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Nobody's in practice; it's completely voluntary. Even in the preseason, when they have full pads on and they're playing against other teams, I still don't take. I take it with a grain of salt. It's those two guys, AJ Boye and Jalen Ramsey. They're going to show up to play when it comes time for kickoff.
Right.
But see, as a teammate, I would think to myself, I think they should be here. I understand if you have major life circumstances going on that precludes you from going to a practice. But I think you shouldn't necessarily go to a basketball game one night and not show up to practice, even though it's voluntary. I think every single day that the team is together makes them a little bit better. Is it necessarily going to make them better against the Patriots? I don't know, but it makes them bond in a certain way. And I'm telling you, when you watch the guys out there today, Telvin Smith was mentoring Blair Brown, who's going to step into Paul Posluszny's role we expect. You saw Calais Campbell talking to Taven Bryan, you know, in periods where they weren't doing drills. I love that stuff because these guys have so much to teach these young players. And even if it's not necessarily something on the field at that moment, it's what time to show up, how to carry yourself, what to say in meeting rooms, how to watch film. There's all those things that I think go into being a true professional. And I'm not saying a knock against Jalen Ramsey and AJ Bouye. I wouldn't start them in the opening game, but I am saying I think as a teammate it would bother me just a little bit and I would want them there.
Well, I'll find this funny that when they do return, if all of a sudden Bortles gets intercepted and then he doesn't look so well, because today he looked great but then they weren't there, so
I did think about
coincidence
that, but there's still so many other good football players on that defense. But I did really like the looks of Andrew Norwell, the guard. He looks like a monster. He was pushing other offensive linemen that he was going up against. And granted, again, these are just drills, but he looks fantastic. He looks very powerful. And then pass catching wise, I really like the way Dante Moncrief looks and Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I think those were two massive additions. I don't know if we'll get to see a lot out of wide receiver DJ Chark, the rookie, right away. I think he'll maybe grow into the role, but those other two guys, the veterans that the Jaguars signed, the free agents, I thought they looked great. So I think you're talking about two more guys that Blake Bortles can go to. He already has Marquise Lee, Keelan Cole, Dede Westbrook that he's familiar with, and now you add these two guys. So I think offensively, and Leonard Fournette looked great, which of course he was going to, but I thought Corey Grant looked great as well. TJ Yeldon did not practice, so we got to see a lot more of Corey Grant out there. All right, speaking of Jalen Ramsey, he and his dad were on Lamont, were on Highly Questionable. Did y'all watch?
I watched it today.
I did, yeah.
And did you laugh throughout the whole thing? It's about 6 minutes long. I could not stop laughing.
I laughed and clapped. Like, I can't believe you just said that. Oh, it was that type of interview. It was fun. It was so much fun. And I'm not a huge fan of that show because it
can be
there's so much going on in that show.
But it was wonderful, and I completely understand now how Jalen turned into Jalen, and especially with his mouth with his father.
And his dad said one thing: if they show up, you have to dominate them. Like it was almost disrespectful as a player on the field if another player wants to go against his son. He says if they show up, you have to dominate.
I know.
Them.
I love
that mindset.
Right? I loved he finished. He goes, they shouldn't even show up. I'm like, oh, no wonder you are who you are, Jalen.
That's what I thought too. That was the line that got me. And then I loved. They asked his dad said he's undefeated against Jalen, and they asked him, well, what age did you stop competing against your son? And he told a story about when Jalen was 13 and he was the coach of the football team, and he said, okay, one person gets to go up against me, and if I win, you all have to do wind sprints. And the whole team picked Jalen to go up against him, and he was like, okay, nobody has to do wind sprints today. That goes to show you that he was such an elite athlete even at that young of an age. But so it got me thinking, what advice did your parents give you before competitions, whether it be academic, athletic, anything that you were competing in?
For dance, it was take 3 deep breaths before you go right out on stage. It'll calm your nerves.
I should probably do that
always
in every
remember that
situation.
3 deep breaths, and then you'll be good.
See, I don't remember anything distinctly that my parents ever said to me, but they were at every single sporting event I ever had, and a lot of the times my dad was my coach, so there's not necessarily one thing that sticks out. I just remember them always being there, which is, pretty
Important.
Lucky compared to other kids who are not so lucky.
Yeah, and especially a lot of times, like with my parents, both of me and my brother both played sports, so therefore one parent had to go with one parent had to go with the other. In soccer, my dad always said, make them make a mistake, because I played defense. So instead of trying to, do something fancy or steal the ball from them make the mistake, which I always had in my head as I was going up against different chicks that I was playing against. And then as far as just overall, I think it was always, rely on how much work you put into it. You know that you've done the best that you possibly can, so make sure that you rely on that. Don't get too nervous. I have a tendency, we'll talk about personalities a little later in the show, but I have a tendency to get a little nervous. Donna, when it comes to dance, you texted me a few weeks back and said that you are the Tom Coughlin of dance, or especially you would be if your daughter were to dance. Why did you say that?
I'm obsessed. I love dance. That's all I did growing up from the age of 3 to 20. and our teacher was very strict. Leotards had to be solid color, couldn't have sparkles, nothing like that. Hair always in a bun, never anything else. No wearing warm-ups or anything like that during class. Like, you weren't wearing skirts and nothing. This was old school ballet. And so I texted you that because there's a dance studio right next to my son's karate studio, and I was seeing all the girls go in, and I'm like, nope, my daughter's not attending this one, because their hair were like in ponytails and they're all different colors. Like, nope, I know I will never ever find probably a studio like I grew up in.
You'll have to create one.
Right? But no, that's the reason I can't teach. I will never teach, because I would send everybody home. If you don't have as much passion as I do, get out. And Deb, our teacher, Deb Coe, she used to toss people out of class. You're late, get out. She was Coughlin before there was Coughlin for me. And so that's what I love, but that's what I thrive in. I thrive in that type of atmosphere. So I need that. And so I would become that. And if you're not in that way, if you don't have that attitude, get out. I'm not going to put up with it. So I would have nobody in class.
Well, and the hard part then for a guy like Tom Coughlin, or even head coach Doug Marone, is finding the players who share that passion.
Right.
The ones that, we always hear, like, we want players who love football. Well, you think to yourself, they all love football. That's why they play the game.
You need
Other
to
than maybe
live
some,
and breathe.
who want to make the money, sure. But you have to love it to go through everything that they go through and to put their bodies on the line. But right, the guys that are there super early, they're super late. The guys that everything they do in the off season, other than maybe a little vacation, is all about football. And then being able to kind of grow that passion once they get their hands on them, once they come into the building, once they're allowed to. And so for you to be a dance teacher, that's what you would have to do, is find those specific girls.
I don't think they exist. If they exist out there, I mean, please let me know. But I no way. There was very few of us, even in our own class, that enjoyed being there. I loved it, and I was devastated when she left. And everybody else is like, oh, I loved it. So, yeah, no, I would never be able to teach. I just couldn't do it.
It's quite all right.
I don't care if you're 4 years old and you're not paying attention. Sit in the corner. Like, I would not be good.
There are plenty of dance teachers out there. Tom Coughlin likes everyone to get there early. Speaking of early, Blythe woke up super early to watch the royal wedding that happened this past Saturday. We'll get into that and a whole lot more. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Jaguar football starts here.
Attempt to see if she wants to eat this.
Welcome in, YouTube. If you're just tuning in, we're live here every Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. We're going to get into a little bit of royal wedding recap, and we're going to talk astrology. Did you take your personality test?
I did, and I'm confused with the results. You're going to have to. I don't understand. I'm like, I don't know how to read it. I'm like, I hope this wasn't part of the test and you could read your results or not.
Well, we're going to get into personality tests later on. If you guys are interested in taking that personality test too, you can go to 16personalities.com. That's the number 16personalities.com, and then see your results. Mine were remarkably accurate to the point where I bookmark them on my phone and I go back and read them sometimes. So we'll see what Donna's has to say too.
Yeah, I saved it in my email.
Oh, let's see.
I love that Taylor can feel my pain about this one person with a client.
Tyler, how are you?
Okay.
Where's my email?
Will you tell me when the live spot is, pretty please?
Next break.
I'm gonna go print it. Over my computer.
Did I need to hit start reading, or were those my results?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Start reading.
My bad. See, that's why I was like, I'm so confused. I don't know what this is telling me.
Oh, I'm clicking on it like it's
yeah.
Yeah, so once you know now you don't have to take it again. Now you can just click on that profile on the website, and then it'll give you a breakdown of your strengths, your weaknesses,
that's why I'm
friendships,
your
relationships.
Type is consul. What am I? I'm a What is a consul?
You're an ESFJA. So you have to go back to the website and then find that personality, and then read your results and see how accurate they are.
Oh, So I was like, what? I'm so confused. Next break, I'll go back into my room and open this.
Well, open it right there.
I can't. I don't know how to get into my email here.
You don't need your email. Just go to 16personalities.com.
Oh.
As long as you know which one you are.
Well, 16 personnel.
We're going to do a live demo. And then click on personality types. And then find your, what are your ESFJ?
What was that again?
ESFJA?
Yeah, ESFJ. ESF.
So is that the same one as
Oh yeah,
Console.
that's yours. And see how it has all the stuff on the left-hand side? That's all. I mean, you can buy
Let's
like
click on
a...
Parenthood. Sensitive yet firm. Yeah, right? Get out of my class. Love dancer, get out.
Click on your strengths and weaknesses.
Strengths and weaknesses. Strong practical skills. I can do day to day. Strong sense of duty.
Hey, those are all mine.
Loyal. Sensitive and warm. Good at connecting with others. I worry about my social status. That's, you know, that's not me there though.
I don't think it's referring to social media.
Oh, okay.
Social is various things.
Inflexible.
Okay, yeah, you have the same strengths and weaknesses as me, but I thought you were a different personality. Maybe you're the same one.
Innovative.
I'm sure some of them share the same things.
See, I'm not vulnerable to criticism.
Oh yeah, that's
You can
one
tell
of
me I suck all day and I don't care. I don't.
I feel like you're.
Damn, oh, I thought that said too selfish.
Selfless. Yeah, we have the. So do we have the same one?
Are you a console?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Okay, that's why.
But I don't agree with. Often too needy.
I don't think you're needy.
Right?
But again, I don't think I'm
I
needy.
don't know. Career path. Ooh, workplace habits. Subordinates. Managers.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. All three of us are back in studio tonight. First time, I think, in like a month
I know,
that we've all
right?
been together.
Yeah.
But anyways, over the weekend, there was a little event that 2 billion people watched live on the internet and also on their television screens. Were you guys one of those 2 billion?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
And I recorded it.
And we're talking about the royal wedding, in case you can't tell.
I watched 30 seconds of it.
30
just so
seconds.
I could say that I saw her and I saw him, and then I was good.
And I'm sure a lot of people saw recaps on social media, and I mean, it was everywhere. It was, 90% of
They
people's
replayed
feeds.
it on multiple channels all day. No lie, all day.
Well, I guess some people didn't want to wake up early, and they didn't want to miss those people.
Yeah, definitely. I woke up early. I woke up at 6 a.m. to watch it, watch the pregame, and then the live action started at 7 a.m.
I think it's pregame.
There were slow-mo videos. It was surprisingly very football accurate.
Who
as
did you
far
watch
as,
it? What channel?
I streamed it from YouTube, so
Okay.
PBS I think
Okay.
is where I started first, and then I went to NBC News. So
Okay.
I used 2 streams for it. I didn't have it on like dual screens, but I switched from one screen to the other. But yeah, I watched them, and then later on that night, my girlfriend had a princess party, which sounds so lame as I'm speaking it into existence right now. But it was really, really cute. She had, American-style food, and she had British-themed food because an American was marrying a British royal, and Meghan Markle married Prince Harry. And it was watched by, like I said earlier, 2 billion people. But a couple of the big news notes is the dress. I think that's what a lot of women were tuning in to see, is what the dress would look like. Were you guys a fan of the dress or not a fan of the dress?
I thought it was lovely.
Yep.
I thought it was plain, practical, and very elegant. And it's funny because I saw beforehand, her stylist or somebody's stylist was like, oh, well, she can't go all sexy. And then they compare her dress to Kate's dress. I'm like, well, she went a little, she had the V-neck, I'm like,
and lace, and
I'm like, hers was more showy than hers was. So.
I have a theory on that. And my theory is that Meghan Markle already has, she's an actress.
There's already photos out there.
Right, so there's already sort of a risque, quote-unquote, risque photos in the eyes of British royalty, in the eyes of the monarchy, that there is risque photos of Meghan out there. So I think she went overly conservative because of that. And in retrospect with Kate, when she got married years back, she's always been very conservative, both before and afterwards. So I think that was her time to sort of, sex it up a little bit.
Right.
What did you think of the dress, Lauren?
I thought it was all right. I thought for such pomp and circumstance, it could have been a little more intricate. I didn't think it was ugly or necessarily boring. I just thought it was kind of there. So I guess I could put that in the boring category. But I did see one really funny tweet that said Meghan Markle's veil was a CVS receipt.
Yes, that was funny.
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
If you've ever been to a CVS, they literally print like 10
very long,
like trees worth of paper for your one item.
It had to be 70 foot long, that veil, and the train.
It was really long. Yeah. So I guess some people would argue with me and say, well, she went, all out with the veil. But to me, I just thought it could have used maybe some beading. I don't know, just something to make it a little more special.
A little more form-fitting is what I would have preferred to see her. And she did have a second dress that she wore to the reception that I thought was much more beautiful than the actual wedding dress. But there are some photos that I've seen of her that she looks gorgeous either way. So, and she looks stunning. And I think that she was just trying to take more of the conservative approach. Tyler, what about you? Did you watch?
Is that a real question?
I mean, I'm sure you couldn't have missed it, right? And I'm sure you guys talked about it all on the drill on Monday.
I would rather watch paint dry. I'm dead serious. I'd rather bite my own toe off than watch the whole wedding.
Bite my own
That's so aggressive.
That's a very gross.
I seriously don't understand how this is entertainment. What is entertaining about this?
I think it's because
it's a fairy tale brought to life.
Yeah, and it's almost
That's what it is.
Don't watch Beauty and the Beast.
But this is real life. So this is Alex from the UK, who said last week, he said Americans are much more obsessed with the royal family than the Brits are, because he theorizes that
Americans are dumber than the Brits.
No, it's because that we don't have a monarchy, and so it's sort of an obsession with historical figures, and that's why we like it more over here, I guess.
I still don't understand.
I don't know. But anyways, there were 2 exes that were invited to the wedding. Harry's exes, one of them, he dated on and off for 7 years. And another one, I think, was a British actress that he dated for just a couple years. It wasn't as serious as a 7-year relationship. But that was probably one of the most debated topics about this wedding in general. And it leads me to ask, would you invite an ex to a wedding?
My ex was there at the wedding. Mm-hmm. It was my table of boys. I always hung out with boys in high school, and so I had my own little group of guys, and they were all there, and he was part of it.
And your husband had absolutely no issue, obviously.
No, no, because there's stories about that there's reasons why. Okay. There's no issues there. So,
Got it.
What about you, Lauren?
I would not, just because I think it can be, it's not always, but I think it can be disrespectful to the person that you're going to be with, just because you don't want any sort of questions going through their mind or jealousy if you see them, or if they see you talking to that person. You wouldn't want them to be in any sort of awkward position where someone to say something, bring up old stories. I just think there's enough of the past be, let the future kind of take over, just for that one day. If you want to be friends with them, then I think go for it. I just think the one day, because I put myself in the other shoes, and if my husband had exes there, I would probably keep looking over, going like, are they checking him out? Are they trying to talk to him? Do they still have his phone number? It would be going through my head.
Well, what if you are the ex? Would you show up? If you're Chelsea in this situation and you have a relationship with somebody for 7 years, it doesn't work out ultimately, and you're still invited to one of the top parties probably in the past decade, do you still go?
Yeah, so the ex that came to our wedding, unbeknownst to me, up and got married not too long ago and didn't find out till like a year later. And I was hurt. I'm like, how was I not invited? But then you look at it, and the girl's point of view is always different. So you never, like, you might not want her, like, his ex is there. But maybe she wants to be there, and they're just friends. But us girls are more competitive, and we have more of a mindset of going, there's another story here. Where the guys are like, whatever, I don't care. The guys could care less. So I was hurt. I'm like, that sucks. So I definitely would have went. But yeah.
Would you have gone if you were the ex?
The royal wedding, I think, is different than most people's weddings in this situation. To go to another wedding, I think the answer would be no, just because I, again, would try and be respectful of the bride, and I wouldn't want her to be wondering why I'm there. Do I have any ulterior motives? The royal wedding I probably would have gone to just because it was such a spectacle that you would have wanted, to just be a part of it.
Going, I'm going.
I will say, the 30 seconds that I watched, they had just walked out. They said their vows, and then they walked out of, I don't know if it's a chapel, church, whatever. And everybody's faces were so doom and gloom. They were panning around to different, I guess, celebrities, not everyone I recognized, and everyone literally looked like they had attended something sad versus this wonderful wedding. Yeah, everyone's face is as like an organ was playing. And I thought, well, maybe this wedding isn't nearly as fun as
maybe you just caught the wrong camera angle from that 30 seconds.
Maybe. It literally showed a bunch of people, and even like Kate and William were not smiling. No one was smiling.
I think that's just the Brits in general.
Well, so I'll tell you that, and I told you this when we did the vision walk this past weekend. The best thing about it, and I get it, you don't care about it, you don't like it. If you just try to find when Bishop Curry preaches, it is the best 15 minutes.
Yes.
He was only supposed to get 5 minutes.
So good.
But it was the best 15 minutes I have ever watched. It was so entertaining. And when they kept panning to the crowd, no one knew what to expect.
They're like, why is this man yelling at us?
This was a church sermon that nobody except for a few on her side of the family,
American side of things,
right, have heard. And it was fantastic. I told you, I said, I was so happy that I was able to sit and watch this, because instead of being there, I don't know how you didn't contain by standing up and going, amen, like after he was done. It was so fantastic.
I had a girlfriend of mine, she said she was ready to walk down the aisle right now and get saved again after that.
I'm telling you, and I am not a big churchgoer, but wherever he is, I will happily go. Happily go.
His big message was that love conquers all. Right. And I think in today's world, to get sort of sappy for a moment, in today's world where there's so much bad news that you see every single day, this was a beautiful moment to see two people in love that are getting married and sharing it with 2 billion other people on the globe. So I thought it was a nice moment, but I know that there were a lot of people out there who were the biggest story was the dress and the exes at the wedding.
Nope. Yeah. Bishop Curry for me, man, all the way.
Blythe, would you have invited exes / would you attend as an ex?
I don't. I sort of like you, where if it's a royal wedding, I'm absolutely going. I'm not missing that party. And I think it's one of those situations where, especially in Chelsea's situation, where you think you're fine, you think, and rumor is that she turned down getting married to Harry because she didn't want the royal responsibility. She comes from a royal bloodline. I guess her dad, or her a descendant, a grandfather, old person descended in her family, was a king at one time. So she comes from royal blood, and she didn't want that royal lifestyle, and so she stepped away from it. But if it's just like a regular person that I know, or like an ex of mine, I'm not inviting them. I don't want that kind of drama in my life.
Obviously, it doesn't have to be drama, right? Like in Donna's case, but I feel like 9 times out of 10, it's easier to avoid any sort of possibility of drama.
And you're, especially when you have, common weddings, I would imagine, have anywhere from 60 to 100 people at them nowadays. And it's so tough. It's so stressful for the bride and the groom to be able to say hello to even that many people. I can't imagine trying to make your rounds to 600 people and to say hello to all of them and to try to appease everyone else. Ultimately, it's about you two, and probably the best bet for the majority of people is to just avoid all extra drama.
See, I wish that they would have had coverage of the receptions, because there was 2 of them. Like, I want to see the parties.
2 receptions?
They had a queen reception. They had her. It was probably like a tea and crumpets, whatever. And then they had the party.
Well, at the queen's reception, there's a couple like hidden rules or not hidden rules, I guess everybody kind of knows them, but you have to eat standing up. And whenever the queen gets done eating, everybody else has to stop eating.
Yep.
So if she stands up, you have to stand up.
If the purse switches to another hand, there's something with that. They're going over all the rules. I'm like, I don't
see.
know
I kind of dig it. I dig the tradition of it. It's not something that we ever have here in the U.S. and I think that that's part of the fascination with the monarchy, and especially with the British.
I just laugh though, because you must see everybody scarfing their food really fast, because they're like, I don't know which is gonna be finished, but I'm eating it all.
Well, I mean, people in America take etiquette classes. Like my cousin was forced to take those when she was younger, and I always thought it's smart to understand manners, certainly, but some of the etiquette stuff is just seemingly so old-fashioned. But for people who absolutely love kind of that world, take an etiquette class and like wear the white gloves and learn all those rules, and then host a tea party for your friends, and then you get to kind of live in that world.
A lot of those rules I learned from Titanic, from Molly Brown's character. Right. She's like, start from the outside and work your way in. Right. Every time I'm at a fine dining establishment, I'm like, start from the outside, work your way in.
By the way, I saw
or Pretty Woman with when she was teaching, the salad fork and
Sarah Walsh loves the royal wedding.
Yes,
so
I saw her post
Halloween.
too.
She wore her wedding dress to a party that her friend hosted for the royal wedding. I was like, all right, now we're getting a little out of hand.
That's pretty funny. I definitely got out of hand on Saturday with it. It was madness. And then I went to a girlfriend's house, and she had the party later on that night. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm royal weddinged out, at least until Tuesday. But really quick, before we go to break, do you guys have a pregame meal? Before any kind of sporting event?
I saw this one. No. The only time when it was playoffs was when the Bruins won their Stanley Cup a few years back.
What was your pregame meal?
It was during the whole game. I would have my rum and cokes and my TGI Fridays.
That's a pregame meal. Oh, that Fridays.
And my TGI Fridays battered green beans. Don't ask. I don't know.
Fried green beans.
Fried green beans, that's all I would do. And rum and coke. I don't know anything else. It's more about what you wear and where you sit.
And sort of in hockey-related terms, Alex Ovechkin, that's what brought this question up. Capitals forward Alex Ovechkin, he has a pregame meal that he's eaten the same thing before every single game for the past 13 years. Chicken parmesan, noodles, and bread, and mushrooms.
I mean, if that's a really good pregame meal. So if you can afford the calories, you may as well eat that before every game. But most people can't afford the calories of that before a game that they're about to watch, because they're not actually playing in it. But back when Tyler was a teenager, when the Gators were good, it's been that long, my mom used to always make this fiesta dip, like the layered fiesta dip. And it was like taco dip, whatever you want to call it. It was so good. She made it every Saturday. And so that was always kind of the ritual. And even I would take like the chip, and I'd have to get all like 7 layers on chip at a time. So that was my pregame meal.
I just had spaghetti a lot. Only because I think it was a lot of carbs and a lot of pasta sauce, so it was thick and just filled you up and kept you full for the whole day, especially for softball tournaments where you're playing 5 games in a day.
You guys were athletes. I mean, dancers are athletes too, but you're getting into a tight costume. You're not eating before you go out on stage. That ain't gonna be a good idea.
We used to have pasta a lot before soccer, and eventually I learned that you're not supposed to have pasta like an hour or 2 hours before the game. You're supposed to have it the night before.
Right.
But our parents didn't necessarily know that back then. So we had a lot of games where people would have to leave to go to the bathroom. That was interesting. All right, when we come back, has Tom Brady ever cheated on his diet? We'll reveal that and a whole lot more. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL. Lauren Brooks here for Dream Finders Homes. Looking to live close to historic Fernandina and Amelia Island? Look no further than the Dream Finders community of Plumber Creek in Yulee. With new homes in the low 200s, Plumber Creek offers access to A-rated schools and it's conveniently located to I-95. New lots have just been released, which will be the last phase of this adorable community. Plumber Creek is perfect for families, complete with a pool, playground, and a new kayak launch is coming soon. For more information, head to dreamfindershomes.com.
This guy said, have you not seen the dental work in England? That's why nobody smiles there.
But they were showing some of the American celebrities too.
I'm telling you.
And I'm telling, none of them, it was like, I guess they had just walked out and they all were just kind of looking around and they looked like they had just been through a funeral.
There's probably so many damn rules that nobody knows what to do.
That Bishop Curry.
He was good.
Oh.
And then they say, what, Stand By Me?
Stand By Me.
After that.
And then they're walking out singing Amen. Leslie Jones, now she's funny on Twitter.
Yeah, she's
Did you
good.
ever, right? So she posted the clip of them walking out, you know, with Amen in the background.
Mm-hmm.
She's laughing. She's like, oh, this just turned black. This is fantastic. I'm like, oh, man.
There was this guy that I follow
Leslie Jones is awesome.
on Twitter, and he said, we're never getting invited back.
That is funny.
Mm.
But they had to know that was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Queen
I
signed
love
off on all of it. But probably for 5 minutes of a sermon versus 15.
Well,
Yeah, but once the preacher gets going, they can't just shut it down.
It was so perfect, though, for the fact of, because it was boring.
Yeah.
It was very boring. And then he just lit up that church. And then when the choir came out.
It looked boring.
And then the cellist.
Oh,
was
the
amazing.
cellist was
19.
19 years old. I'm like, Blythe, you will not get attracted to a 19-year-old. No.
He was so
That's
good.
such a creepy thing to say. I take it back.
He was so good. How's your rice?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I love peas, so I'm having fun
Good.
trying to get the peas, all of the peas out. Oh,
And
the
then-
salad was delicious, so thanks for
That's good.
giving that to me. I love ginger dressing.
That's what he's like, the ginger dressing's really on my okay,
Mhm.
thanks. I feel bad.
I love ginger.
No, thank you.
Now you don't have to feel bad. It was easy. Great part about fried rice is I feel like I've been eating for a while and there's still so much left.
Right?
Now get special promotional pricing of $38.99 with 0 down and 0% financing for up to 48 months.
Yeah, I don't know why there was so much traffic on.
I'm telling you, I think it's gonna be the weather. The weather. Because it's wet. Wet weather.
I love this spot. Febreze came up with a good spot.
Wasn't
Is this
there part of it,
local?
I didn't know who it was.
No. Isn't it a great little spot? That was catchy.
If you can remember who it is.
Right?
Tyler, do you have Savannah's number?
Yeah, I got already emailed to me.
Okay, cool.
What time is she coming in?
The last segment.
8:38.
Hi, this is Dr. Michael Adams, the head team physician for the Jacksonville Sharks. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, with the team behind your team, serving as the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville
Perfect.
Sharks. JOI offers a complete range of orthopedic care, rehabilitation services, to keep the Sharks on the field and the game. Treat yourself like a pro. Visit JOI.net.
Alex also said, he said, now you know why I like American football. It's different, something we don't have here, like the monarchy in the U.S.
Tis true.
Yeah, but football's way better than the monarchy.
They bring a lot of tourism dollars.
The monarchy does?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know the monarchy did because people don't get to see them, but I figured like the castle part did.
Yeah, just the institution of the monarchy, because they're essentially the queen doesn't have any power. She's a representative of the church for the UK. The parliament has all the power, makes all the rules. But they are an institution, I guess.
I just love Prosser's take.
I forget what he said. Oh, that he's never going to become...
Yeah, he's like, wouldn't that just piss you off? You're never going to be king. You're always going to be a prince.
I wouldn't want the responsibility. I guess they don't really have responsibility. I keep saying that, and Brian's like, it's not like the president.
Right.
But them two together, they're going to bring a lot of brand awareness to charities all over the globe. Just the two of them. Like, talk about, Elin Woods. I don't know, her last name isn't Woods anymore. Nordigan. Mm-hmm. Talk about her come up. Look at Meghan Markle's come up. Mm-hmm. Like, she never has to work, I would say she never has to work another day in her life, but arguably she has one of the tougher jobs.
By the way.
On the globe.
She began on General Hospital.
Did she?
Yep.
I said earlier that she wasn't a soap star. My bad.
Want to talk football? More helmets and heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
Now on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. Tyler, we are now well into May.
Oh no.
And June's around the corner.
Okay.
So before we get into Tom Brady and his TB12 method, you lost last year. So
fair and square.
You need to do a week of the Tom Brady diet.
I will not be a cheater like Tom is. I heard Tom is.
When do you foresee yourself partaking in this diet?
I'll probably plan a date sometime after 4th of July.
No. No, this is happening in June, sir. Okay. This is not happening in July, because after 4th of July,
he's Tom Coughlin.
After 4th of July comes August, and then it's football season again, and I'm not having that. You lost this in January.
We got it in June. We'll take care of it.
Okay?
We'll take care of it.
Tyler's like, I quit.
I know.
He's
like, I don't want to listen to anything more about the royal wedding. I thought this
whatever
was a
you say,
sports show. Now I'm getting chastised for my lack of doing the diet. I give up.
So Blythe sent us this in a recent interview with Julian Edelman. He admitted that he has seen Brady cheat on his diet, which I've seen him chug a beer. You've seen that. That was on national television, so you've seen that before.
He chugged it so fast it doesn't count.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was a very good chugger.
That's, wow. So,
Man of many
he says he's seen him eat I like how you put it, though. I've seen him eat a chicken wing. Like a chicken wing. One chicken wing. Pizza and a burger. And our wonderful Chad with 2D Scott liked to give the comment of, well, if he cheats at football, why wouldn't he cheat on his diet? Where I replied, really, Chad? I'm not answering that one.
I was surprised that he delved into making a pregnant woman angry. I thought that was totally off limits for everyone, even if it's not the spouse.
So this didn't surprise me, though, in the sense of nowhere was I ever on the TB12 method. I have not done this avocado everything and no caffeine ever. But when I did have a personal trainer and I was keeping my food journal, I was very strict. But they also tell you need to have cheat moments in order to shock that body to get it back and working, the metabolism working and everything like that. At least the majority of trainers will tell you that. I mean, shoot, you see The Rock, and his cheat meal is like a ginormous stack of pancakes. Like massive stack of pancakes.
You'd think that for people who don't eat a lot of sugar, then putting that much sugar in their body at one time would really send their system into a shock.
Well, and that's the point. It needs to, you shock it and get it back in. I don't
and plus
understand how it
prevents
works.
you from binge eating too.
Right. So what would be your Blythe? What would be your one cheat meal if you were on the TB12 method? You're not eating anything.
Filet and lobster with a side of Blind Rabbit's blue cheese chips and Safe Harbor shrimp nachos, blackened shrimp nachos, and there's something else I'm forgetting.
Okay, I said a meal, not a feast.
That's I get sides
the
too.
Filet and lobster, I think you could eat. Well, maybe not the filet. The lobster, though, I think you could eat on the TB12.
Probably, but
probably
maybe
not the way
with the
I
butter.
eat it. Yeah, not with the butter and all the seasonings on it.
Maybe
the way I like it.
Coconut milk, butter.
Oh, the one I was missing. Epic Burgers, buffalo cheese fries. So I gotta have those three sides. So filet and lobster, Blind Rabbit's blue cheese chips, Safe Harbor blackened shrimp nachos, and Epic Burgers buffalo cheese fries. That's my cheat meal.
Oh, you were very specific, but I like that. Lauren?
When I did CrossFit, they told us you can do if you can do 6 days of eating properly, which for CrossFit's a lot of paleo stuff, no carbs. You get 1 day of eating whatever you want.
Right.
They're like, you can binge eat. It will not affect you, and eventually you'll stop carrying that much because you have all day to eat. It's not like you get just the one cheat meal. So if that helps anybody, I don't do it at all, but it seemed to work for all the people that did CrossFit religiously. But as far as one cheat meal, I love chicken pot pie, and I know that creamy sauce and the crust that chicken pot pie is in would not be allowed whatsoever, and all the sodium probably, because most of the time you get a chicken pot pie, it's not cooked fresh, but either way, fresh or frozen, I don't even care. Just a giant thing of chicken pot pie would be amazing.
Where's your favorite chicken pot pie from? Do you have a place?
I've made it myself, and it was pretty good, but probably the last time I really had it was like Marie Callender's.
Yes, that one's fire.
And that one is good.
Yeah.
But I probably don't get it often enough fresh because I,
like we
look
don't
at it and I'm
have.
like, oh, that's a lot of calories.
It's unfortunate we don't have a Boston Market up here in Jacksonville anymore.
No.
And that's very
There
upsetting.
used to be one in like
Boston Market is phenomenal.
Yeah, they have good chicken pot pie.
My dad always gets their chicken pot pie.
Yeah.
Mine would be, this was hard because right now everything is a cheat meal for me. Today was a Milky Way with right now fried rice and just random crap, Doritos. Anyway, when I am strict, a cheat meal for me would be either pizza or mac and cheese. I don't care where from. Just give that to me.
I love mac and cheese.
But
and
then
pizza.
Knowing how we are, though, I would be so mad that I had the cheat meal, and then I would work harder, 10 times harder, to never have to have a cheat meal.
See, I work out so I can have the cheat meals.
It bothers me. To a point, it bothers me when I get to eat something like that. But I'm not worried about that right now.
Yeah, when you're trying to lose weight, I think there is like a part of you that's like, okay,
I don't need this anymore.
Yeah, I want to be so good that I don't have to feel guilty about eating stuff like that.
Well, I think it's good to hold back sometimes and not to give in to your cravings all the time, because they're with the foods and nowadays and how they're made with so many things that are addictive to, and our taste buds haven't evolved since the caveman days. You would get carbs and you would get sugars, and those would be considered treats. And our taste buds haven't evolved to the point where we're having those on a regular basis, so your body gets addicted to those things and it becomes used to it. And so when you start cutting those things out, it puts your body into shock.
Yeah, like I can't wait until she is into this world so I can down some rum and cokes, man. I miss me some rum and cokes.
Are you at the point where you can have a glass of wine yet?
No, I don't. I don't cheat. There's cheat meals, and I don't cheat on that. Like I'll have a little mini can of cherry Coke, like the tiny can. You can buy the small ones.
Right.
I'll have that maybe one a day or one every other day, but that's it.
Yeah, I think your doctor says, not your doctor, but doctors say that once you get past the first trimester, then you're allowed to have the one alcoholic beverage per day. I don't know if it's
I'm not going to chance it anyways.
Yeah,
I'm already taking my seizure meds. I don't need to add anything else to the mix.
Yeah, but at the first trimester, the baby's brain is being formed the most during that time frame, so that's why they say, lay off the booze. Although I know a lot of people who didn't know they were pregnant and they kept drinking and their babies are fine, so teach their own.
Well, speaking of cheat meals, pizza, like I said, would be definitely one of them. And I ordered a wonderful sandwich from Domino's the other day, and
I didn't know Domino's had sandwiches.
Wonderful sandwiches, yum. And happened to just, I don't know, I was randomly looking around on their website, and I noticed it at the bottom of the Domino's website they have a wedding registry, and I was like, what is this? And I click on it, and no lie, it is a registry, and you can. It's phenomenal. I love how they have some of these, and mainly it's basically giving gift cards and certain amount gift cards, and but
instead of cash or money to a couple.
Yeah, they're very creative with them, and they'll do cater the bachelorette party, one more slice before I do, married but chill. I mean, it's so cute at what they do and how they
post
come
honeymoon
up with
adjustment to real life.
Low-key date night. It's adorable. And I wanted to check it out and see if all the other ones were doing this, and no. So as far as I know, only Domino's does this, and it's very creative, especially, if you have been living together, you have everything you need. What are you registering for? So
free stuff.
Is this something that would interest you? Would you register for something like this?
I would not, because it would lead me to eat more pizza. And that's one of the food groups that I love and I try to avoid. I know it's not that bad for you in certain ways, but if I avoid it more often than not, then I don't eat other stuff that I also enjoy that's terrible for you. And I feel like pizza's like my gateway drug food.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because you can't stop.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I can't have like one slice. So for me, I wouldn't do the Domino's Registry, but I would love other restaurants that I can find some seafood.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at somebody who has Pizza Hut login, and my favorite pizzas are saved into my account.
And I can your stuff.
And I can pre-order a pizza to myself, which I've done several times. So yeah, I mean, anytime you can send me food, even if you want to send me food now, I would take a pizza. Especially if you want to send it for a couple, because then I can just eat it all by myself.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I just loved it. I thought it was very creative. I never would have thought, to do anything like this, especially, if you're getting married later in life, you guys already have everything, it's like, well, what now? I mean, money is always good, yes, but this is creative.
This almost could be a really fun twist on all that, too. By the way, Mookie Betts just hit a 3-run home run.
That's number 16.
Red Sox over the Rays. Yeah, congratulations on that. But a really funny twist would be a divorce registry. Like when two people are breaking up the marriage.
That would be smart.
That has to exist, I would think.
Well, a Domino's Pizza would be perfect, because then they're having to split up all their silverware and plates and stuff. Then they have to move.
Send them a bunch of paper plates. You're going to need it.
Now they have to figure out how to cook for themselves.
Right.
So this would really solve a lot of issues.
That's a great idea, actually. And if it's not in existence, I suggest that you go and run with that.
There's definitely a lot of divorce gifts I'm seeing on the internet right now.
It seems like there's not going to be such a thing as a divorce registry, but Domino's could figure out a way to create something like this.
I think that's a lot of fun.
There was one cool thing I was trying to find as far as like unique wedding registry things, and there was this website called peak.com, and it's not necessarily for wedding registries, but a lot of couples will get money towards a travel goal to a place where they want to go to. And Peak, if you go to peek.com, I don't know if you go to any other kind of peak.com, but that specific peak.com, you can take a little quiz, and they'll show you some pictures, and you can pick which picture you like, and then based off of that, it'll ask you then, okay, well, what city are you going to? Or you can put in Jacksonville, and it'll tell you what kind of personality you have, and then we'll get into personality tests later on, but then it'll also give you recommendations around that city of things that match the questions you answered, which
that's
I thought
really
was
cool. That's very cool.
And then you can use that to then solicit money from everybody you know.
Money. By the way, Donna, speaking of baseball, you brought up Buck Showalter and the fact that he wouldn't wait for a pitching change.
So yeah, it was pretty funny, because it was against obviously the Red Sox, and Xander Bogaerts hit a home run, and out comes Showalter while Bogaerts is still running the bases. He's just like, I'm not waiting. I'm just, screw this. I'm going. I'm going to the pitcher. You're out. And you see...
Did he almost run into him?
Yeah, because Showalter's walking, and as soon as he gets to the baseline, Xander's about to reach third. So Xander was almost taken aback, like, what? All right, I'm going to slow up, and then I'm going to keep going to home base. I don't know what's going on. And I was talking to Rick Ballou about it. He's like, I've never in my life have seen that at all, ever, with the amount of baseball we have watched. Never. And I'm like, is this... So me looking at him, like, I don't understand how Showalter even still has a job in Baltimore. But plus his ultimate goal, he's like the Rex Ryan to me of baseball. His ultimate goal is to just hate on Boston and to try to beat Boston. So I didn't know how you ladies would take it, if you thought this was, wow, that's really pretty rude, or, yeah, don't blame him, get that pitcher out as fast as you can.
I'm sure it was one of those moments where it was just so frustrated he just walked out on the mound, and then this is probably something that he's never going to do again.
I mean, it's never, for as long as we know, no one's ever seen this happen. It's just so rare, because it's one of those, like we talked about, etiquettes. It's just one of those things where you wait for him to cross the, okay, now I'm going to go. You know?
It's very rude. It's understandable that he would be frustrated, but it is very rude. I think it's actually more surprising, though, that it hasn't happened before. Like, not that they've almost hit each other, but that the manager isn't almost out to the mound by the time the runner's going around.
And it's not like he was, that infamous viral kid going 2 miles an hour to the home base. He's doing a normal trot around the bases. So it was just, I don't know. I found it bizarre.
By the way, there is a divorceregistry.com to start your path to independence with checklists and services. And it says not just, or it's for dad, moms, and kids too.
Well, see, and I wonder if that's kind of trying to raise money for the attorney fees that you're about to go through and things like that.
Invite friends and family.
But
connect with local services.
I think
divorceregistry.com.
I think you can still use the wedding registry for the dominoes for the divorce. Just send it to a single person.
It would be funny.
Just add it to your checklist.
Dose of Daily's Place is coming up next as we check in with Jaguars.com digital reporter and host Ashlyn Sullivan. Today was the first day of OTAs, so we will get back to the Jaguars. And we'll do all that next, as well as give away our Peterbrook Chocolate Heel of the evening. You're listening to Helmets and Heels built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Huffington Post wants to start a new trend, the divorce registry.
That's funny. That would be funny.
I had a girlfriend who got divorced, and her new boyfriend, whenever the divorce was finalized, he rented a sign that says, her name, now free woman. It's like the bug out sign that you can rent.
That's funny. I like it.
Let's go. Yes. Welcome into Helmets and Heels, guys. We are live here every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Coming up, we're going to get into a little bit more Jaguars OTA news from Ashlyn Sullivan. She works for the Jaguars. You might see her on the sidelines for Jaguars.com, working with John Osher. Then we're going to get into the personality test, and then we're going to talk with Savannah Foster. She is one of, I think, like 40 female NFL agents in the entire country. There's something like close to 800 of them, and she's one of 40, so we're going to talk to her later in the show.
Well, as long as it's before August, is what I was thinking.
Nope.
We're going to have to make everyone sign a contract next time we have bets on this show.
Because if I would have lost...
Like, written in blood.
Right. If I would have lost it, I would have been great. That's going to be put on pause until after. Because there's no way I'm doing that.
You're giving birth.
What? Ugh. Ordered the Star Wars shirt for Thursday. New Solo movie comes out. Now I'm not getting it till Saturday.
Well,
what does that do?
Go make your own.
Ugh.
I once made my own Tom Hanks shirt.
That's stupid.
What are we going to do this season?
What the fuck?
I don't know. Remember, Chad didn't like the season long. He preferred like week-to-week things.
I mean, we can
do
charge.
like that.
Can make it like $1 bet. Because
can
gambling
try.
on sports is legal now.
Not in Florida.
This shirt better come. Motherfuckers. Pennsylvania. There's no way it's getting here in time.
Have you watched a Sox game at all this year?
Mm-hmm.
From Boston? Or just with...
The first time Tampa Bay played in Boston.
Did you hear Hanley's walk-up song?
No.
He does Take On Me.
Oh, okay. By Aha?
Mm-hmm. And it gets to that part, and the chorus where everybody goes, and the whole stadium does it. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's so fun.
I'm like, what a random song to play for your walk-up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, Tyler, you're calling her, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. No rush. Just making sure.
Has made them who they are since 1901. Highly skilled, local 234. Make the right connection. Hey, I heard you.
All right, so this is a different shift.
Yeah, and it only
Ashlyn, what's up? Tyler, 10-10, how are you?
than just the typical burglar. Adjust the thermostat and my favorite thing, they call it smart lighting. I will never have to come home.
There it is.
Excuse me.
Does it every time.
What?
Martinez.
Oh.
That's easy to remember. Smart
Every time.
I thought you were talking about your food. Have you had any weird cravings yet?
I've had no cravings, which is...
None?
No. Which
Which
is
is
annoying.
why
That's always my favorite question to ask.
No.
she still has her entire box of food, and mine is half gone.
Right.
More
Like, I
than
have the exact opposite.
Do you have food that makes you sick?
Bananas. Anything with bananas.
And you liked bananas before?
That was so sweet when JT was getting a banana for you.
I know. Right. He is a sweetheart.
He is.
He'll probably be here next week, by the way, so be prepared.
Next Tuesday night, I'm sure
Alright, coming back here 15.
I'll be in great
And I'm around in
We'll have
Laurel's
Monday
come
off,
back with.
True.
and I hate Mondays.
Yep.
So it'll be phenomenal.
Good.
I shouldn't say I hate Mondays. Mondays are just a very long day for me.
Did you know Sunday, TJ turns 40?
I did not. I'm 40. I'm a man.
Jaguars football by women, for women, and men. Helmets and heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
on 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
We've been meeting with the players, so what they're going through today is not anything new for them as far as schematics of what we want to do. What's going to be new today is practice, setting our standards, things that's really for the whole team because we haven't done that in such a long period of time.
Me and they talk about it all the time, owning the offense, and I've said it before. He talks about I ought to know the offense better than anybody in the building, including him. So I think it's a constant work towards that. Being able to do and say and see everything that he would do as an offensive coordinator, and be that coach on the field.
Well done, Tyler. We already have a montage after OTA number 1 as we welcome in Ashlyn Sullivan, Jaguars.com digital reporter and host. Hello, Ashlyn. I'm so excited I can't even talk after OTA number 1. How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm excited as well. It was just so nice to finally be in front of football again. Even if that's what Rose says was being played in pajamas, I still thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, played in pajamas and the punter kept hitting the roof of the flex field, the Daly's place.
That's a good sight to see.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Ashlyn, before we get to the OTAs, let's talk a little bit about Daly's Place as we get to a dose of Daly's Place. You guys really do have something for everyone, right?
Yeah, just coming off of May, we had so many shows in May, and they were so successful, so many different genres. We had a sold-out show with Post Malone. We had the first EDM concert with Odessa. That was really well. I think there'll definitely be more EDM concerts, because that was pretty packed. And I know a lot of people even sat through hours of rain to watch that show, so definitely shows that people are interested in it, and it just is more momentum going into the summer.
My cousin was one of those people, by the way, who sat through the rain. She has an Odessa tattoo. That's how much she loves them. But I did hear from lots of friends who went that it was a phenomenal show. So that's really good to hear because I think EDM can be a very difficult show to put on because there's so many lights that go on and it's such a production. So it's awesome that it went really well.
Oh yeah, I mean I know they were setting up days before that. I mean it's just a production, like you said, of putting lights and everything. It's definitely more than just the band showing up for stuff like that.
And so your newest concert that got announced was Wiz Khalifa. That has to be exciting.
Yes, I know they worked really, really hard to get him locked down. So that show is on August 15th. I expect tickets still stay, and they were doing pretty well. There were still some tickets available, but they're saying with how well Post Malone did and how quick he sold out that they're expecting pretty much the same with Wiz Khalifa. So I know that they were saying if you want to get tickets for that show, to do so soon because even though it's a few months away, that will definitely be sold out, they think, by the time the show starts.
I mean, it's so great because, like Lauren just said, you do have something for everybody. So the week before, you have 311 The Offspring, then it's Wiz Khalifa, and then just a few days after that, it's Jason Mraz. So it's such a huge variety. It's fantastic.
That is a wide variety when you say all those three.
Right?
And we're not even Donna's not even talking about June yet, but you have 3 shows booked already for June. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, you have Logic, which is another hip-hop act, and the Dutch Truck Band, which I'm funny, Carson Tinker was in our office the other day, and he was hyped up about that and said how cool it is that they're coming to town. He's a big fan of theirs. And then to wrap up soon, we have Poison, Brent Michaels, and all of them coming to town, which will be another wide range. But it was funny to hear Carson Speaker talk about how hyped up he was about the truck fan.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess he would have been, I'm trying to think if his wife might have been pregnant when they were here last time, Annie. So this is maybe the first time that mom and dad can kind of get to a show. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Was for sure going, so.
Let's get to the Labor Day weekend extravaganza. Leonard Skinner, Kid Rock, Jason Aldean. How are tickets looking for that?
Tickets are just every week they're going more and more up. I know it's not sold out yet, but they're saying that's definitely probably will be sold out in the near future. A lot of people are just saying how cool it's going to be that it's a whole weekend. I think people are so used to just coming to Daly's Place for a few hours, seeing a great show, and going home. Where this is a all-day camp out frenzy. So it's something that I don't think Jacksonville has seen in a while. So I think people definitely need to take advantage of it.
This was a while ago, but when I was in high school, Kenny Chesney, Tim McGraw, George Strait, and the likes all came to Everbank Field. It was phenomenal, and I feel like this is going to be something. Yeah, you were probably very young at that point, Ashlyn, but it was fantastic, and Everbank is really set up for some great things.
Yes, absolutely. Well, cool. I will definitely be there. I'm excited to see it. Something different, which is always a good thing.
Awesome. All right, let's get to on the field. What was your biggest takeaway today from OTA number 1 outside of maybe quarterback Blake Bortles?
Outside of quarterback Blake Bortles, so it's got to be DJ Chark out of LSU, the new wide receiver rookie. I was just so impressed how quick he ran one. The plays he was making, I know they made a great grab the very last play of OTAs. And just I can tell the coaches are really pleased with how well he's grasping the offense. It seems like he knows exactly what to do when the play is called. Just, man, is he quick. Just watching him run routes, I don't think I've ever seen someone as quick as him.
Well, he obviously wasn't running up against Jalen Ramsey or AJ Boye. So having those two not at practice today, did that bother you at all?
Not that it bothered me. I was a little surprised more so about Boye. I would think Ramsey wouldn't be there, but I think it's great that you saw guys like Tyler Patton, for example, step up and fill that role in play calling and everything. And I know Telvin was out there calling a bunch of plays. So not that it bothered me. I think it's very rare that you have 100% of your team there. For only 2 to be missing, I think it's pretty good going into the first OTA.
What else are you going to be watching during the rest of the OTAs?
During the rest of the OTAs, we were really close to the offensive line. I'm really curious to see how Andrew Norwell plugs into that line. Everyone is so hyped up about him and his talent, and he definitely stands out. I'm just really curious to see how that line meshes together. And then also, I was watching Calais Campbell and David Bryan today. Calais was coaching him up as always Calais would do. So I think I really want to see how David Bryan reacts to that, and I think he will do, as we all expect, very well. And of course, Blake Bortles, I thought his mechanics were great today. He seemed really accurate, so hopefully that keeps going with the rest of those days.
Yeah, I thought Andrew Norwell looked like it made all the sense to me in the world as to why the Jaguars decided to pay him handsomely, because he did look like he's going to be an excellent guard. What about Dante Moncrief, the free agent wide receiver?
I'm just really, when you look at him, I was watching him in the middle of the huddle, he just looks so much bigger than the other guys, like so much more athletic and taller in the hole. I was really impressed. I know they're really excited to have him. He's so athletic. I know he made a great grab with Tanner Lee throwing to him, the new quarterback. I saw one of those today. It was funny today on drive time, we got an Ozone question that said, I don't know if Dante Moncrief is going to make the team. Do you think he's a fluke? And we're all thinking, with the amount of money they're paying him, there's no way he's not making the team. So it was funny how fans were doubting if he was going to have a spot. I think he definitely will have a spot.
Yeah, and when you sign on a prove-it deal, you're really expected to do some big things.
Ashlyn,
his name will be on the list.
Do you look at day 1 of OTAs as, yes, it's day 1 of OTAs, or, oh, all right, so I'm not going to overhype it, it's just day 1?
This was actually, because I started with the Jags last year for training camp. This was actually my first time ever being around an OTA. I was really excited. I was used to, obviously, the training camps and the pads and everything, and obviously it's much more hyped up, but with how long we've gone with an empty building and the high vibes of a normal day, this was exciting. Like, you could feel the energy when you walked in this morning, that people were in uniforms, and I saw coaches running down the rubber hallways, and it just felt like a normal season day, which was really cool to me.
By the way, Ashlyn, the reason DJ Chark looks so good to you is because you covered Florida football, and they haven't had any good wide receivers in a while.
Right, yeah, he kind of stood out. And I remember when we played him, he took his face LSU, so it all came back. I was like, oh, this is what I've been missing.
Absolutely. Well, we will see you Thursday and Friday for OTAs 2 and 3. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, Ashlyn.
Of course. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys soon.
Absolutely. And again, lots of fun stuff coming up to Daly's Place. Head to dailysplace.com if you want to get tickets for any of the upcoming shows like Poison, Cheap Trick, 30 Seconds to Mars, 3 Doors Down, and then, of course, that Labor Day weekend show with Leonard Skinner, Jason Aldean, and Kid Rock. All right, Tyler, take it away. You can win tonight's Peterburg Chocolate Heel by texting into the 1010XL text line driven by Duval Ford, either the name of the artist or the name of the song. Of course, hint, hint, this artist is coming to Daly's Place in 2018. Excellent work, Tyler. I know the answer. And I'm sure that lots of people who listen to the same kind of music that I do know the answer as well. Donna, of course, you have no idea because you don't listen to the same genre of music, but I'm not giving away another hint. I already said this artist is coming.
I'm sure Elvis is not coming to Daly's Place.
Maybe an Elvis impersonator at some point would.
I would be there, front and center.
I love it. All right, lots of good stuff from Ashlyn on the Jaguars, and as the days go on the rest of this week, of course, on 1010XL, we'll keep you updated with everything that happens at the organized team activities. Coming up next, we're going to get into our personalities. We all took a personality test. What does that reveal about us? Do we agree, disagree? That is next to us in the Hones and Heels, built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Hi there, I'm Steve Spurrier.
Do we have something on the other side, other station? Tyler.
Oh, we might have NBA.
Is NBA on the other station?
ESPN doesn't have it tonight, though.
NBA is on the AM.
Okay.
But ESPN doesn't have that game tonight.
They have radio.
ESPN radio.
Try other station. So we're on the FM?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. My parents asked.
They have the pregame at 8, so pregame's on the AM. Tip-off's at 9.
Okay. Mom's like, are you off the air now?
So, Tyler, since you have to get up so early, will you stay up for the duration of the game?
Yeah, I'll stay up slowly.
You will, okay.
I usually take like a 2-hour nap.
That's what I thought. You have the nap.
Yeah. I would break into the
I've actually loved I know it's bad for the NBA, but I've loved the fact that the games are lopsided because I can go to bed earlier and I don't feel like I'm going to miss a single thing. And I haven't. I have yet to go to bed before it's over and wake up and be like, what? They came back. Like, there's been none of that. So I'm like,
see, I saw that, but
I've been watching hockey.
Game 2 of Celtics, they were down and they came back.
They were, and I was, but that must have been, it wasn't a weeknight, I feel like. It must have been like a Friday or Saturday.
Probably like 2 30-point swings.
Yeah, because they were down and then they came back.
Great
I was
game.
like, ooh, yeah, it was fun.
But yeah, the other ones, once they hit like the third quarter, I'm like,
James Harden is such a fraud. I'm tired of James Harden. I'm tired of people waiting for James Harden to make a move in the playoffs. He ain't gonna make no move in the playoffs. It's a chump.
So
I hate James Harden.
I never saw what Danny Eatling looked like. He's not a bad looking dude.
Why do you bring that up?
Just because with Brady not there, that's the quarterback they're interviewing. You know, and I saw quickly on.
How do they keep getting handsome quarterbacks?
I don't know. He's not bad, right?
Yeah, he looks good. That's not bad at all.
Right? I was like, oh, because I saw him. He looks.
I'll show you.
Actually, his interview, he looked better.
Can you see? Yeah.
In the interview today, and I was like,
kind of see.
That's who that is? So I was surprised. I'm like, oh. Yeah. That's why I'm like, is it a requirement to have some kind of
You have to be handsome. You have to be at least a 7 to be quarterback for the Patriots.
What was Garoppolo's when he came out of college?
10 out of 10.
Jimmy Garoppolo. College.
The problem is Garoppolo is good in college. Elling is not.
Yeah, but look at that. That's his college photo.
Handsome.
That's ridiculous.
Handsome.
I mean, he should be a soap star. Come on.
I mean,
that's why he's on the West
Coast. I may be in the minority, but I don't think Brady's attractive. Do you?
Brady has an awful body.
Oh, I don't like looking at the body, looking at the
even
face.
Even if we were just looking at his face, you do think he's attractive. I don't find him attractive.
If he's in a suit, he's attractive. But I just
unless it's that Met Gala suit.
That draft picture. Every time I try to think of him as like attractive, I see the draft picture and I'm like, ugh, no.
His GQ photos are really good.
Yeah.
Tom Brady GQ.
Oh wait, we are on.
Let's see. Like that one.
Yeah. Handsome.
That's a handsome photo.
And it wouldn't kill him to do some curls.
Him with the goat.
My friend just bought a house. Look at her 2-year-old.
That's awesome.
He's so tiny too. I don't even know how he fits in his little inner tube. I just love it.
But yeah, so Tom Brady draft.
Is Jimmy G the most handsome quarterback that the NFL has ever seen?
I mean, that's hard to not look at that. There's your photo.
It's so terrible.
So bad. Oh boy, yeah, no, that's bad.
He looks like every guy you'd find at a gas station on the north side.
I mean, you can click on that, and then he's handsome there. I still think he's handsome.
That's what happens when you get millions of dollars and people to tell you.
But Jimmy G is a soap star face.
I'm trying to think. Are there any quarterbacks that in NFL history
that look like that?
Maybe Brett Favre? No.
No one.
He's kind of little too. He's kind of short.
I don't think anybody looks like Jimmy G. Remember when
Steve Young?
Amanda was obsessed with him. She loved him.
That was her background picture on her desktop.
Maybe Steve Young in his heyday.
Yeah.
49ers quarterback too. How about that?
Right? Must be a West Coast thing.
Seriously.
He's a good-looking dude.
No. Fuck Dan Marino.
No, but that was the 80s. So maybe.
No. I just don't like his ass. After what he said, after getting crushed by the Jaguars and scored 67 points on his ass.
That is music.
I thought Matt Leinart was attractive, but
oh yeah. He's
a great NFL quarterback.
Very attractive. Who else? I feel like there's somebody I'm missing.
What is the score of this?
I have to Google research this.
Sorry.
Most attractive NFL quarterbacks.
All right, come back.
Thank you.
To our website. Did you Google it?
I was about to. We're coming back.
You're listening to Hamilton Meals, built by Dreamfinders Homes. Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products. On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. And around town, it's been a little gloomy. It's been a little rainy. Looks like it's going to be a little gloomier this holiday weekend. Do you guys have anything planned?
We're going down to Daytona. My wonderful husband is turning 40.
Nice.
This weekend.
Happy early birthday to your husband.
Yep. So we're going to go down there and celebrate.
Nice. Mm-hmm. No rum and cokes, though, for you. No rum and cokes, sorry.
Just a few more months.
Is that going to be weird if that's what I order right after?
No.
Go get me a rum and coke now, please.
They should have it waiting for you, to be honest.
That would be nice. I wonder if I could do that.
My friend's husband brought liquor into the hospital room after she delivered the twins. He brought liquor. Not for her, but for him. But still, it was in there, so if she wanted it.
I'm going to ask.
Yeah. That's what I would have it ready, on ice, waiting for me.
My cousin comes in town this week, and she'll be here through next week, and I've been promising her, she lives in Pennsylvania, I've been promising her a boat day to Fort George. And I'm not sure I'm going to squeeze that in. So as far as backup plans, maybe a game night. That's really the only thing I know to do if it's pouring down rain outside.
I got some ideas for y'all.
Okay.
I did a little research. So before we get into our personality quizzes, I just wanted to run through like a few things because it has been so rainy and I think a lot of people just assume that there's nothing to do around town. But if you get a little creative, there are a few options around town. One of them, the first one that I found, is a brewery tour with the Jack's Brew Bus. And they have private and public tours available. If you wanted to have one of the public tours, they do them every Friday or Fridays and Saturdays starting at 7. And they do another tour on Saturdays and Sundays starting at noon, but you visit breweries like Wicked Barley, Intuition, Southern Swells, Engine 15, Green Room, Atlantic Beach Brewing, Bottlenose, Bold City. There's a minimum of 6 people that you need, but it's $55 each, and you have a designated driver. So they drive you around to all these different breweries all around town.
We're actually doing our show at Wicked Barley in August, and it's being presented by Jack's Brew Bus, the Frangie Show.
Nice.
Yeah,
how about that?
Mike, the owner, on this past Friday. So
awesome.
I was wondering. I'm like, God, I've heard Jack's Brew Bus before.
Yeah,
That's where try.
What we
Fantastic.
have here, it's called the Jack's Ale Trail, where you can go around and you can visit all the different craft breweries. But this is just an easy way to do it, where you don't have to worry about driving, and you can pay one minimum fee, and then you can just get a tour from each of these different establishments. And they're trying to make craft beer, or Jacksonville is like the craft beer capital of the South. So it's a great way to see some local businesses around town.
Wicked barley, so you don't have to just drink. You can actually eat something there along the way. Because some of the breweries don't necessarily have food. So
I think Engine 15 and Intuition and Wicked Barley, I know all have fantastic food. The rest of them, I'm not so sure. But Southern Swells, I know they're right next to the Mini Bar Donuts, and that place is fantastic as well. But then there is a couple other things. You can take a museum tour. You can take an Uber and Lyft to each one of these museums. MoCA is one of the great museums that we have here in town, Museum of Contemporary Art. It's free to go, though you're suggested to give a little bit of a donation. Also, MOSH, Museum of Science and History, that's around town. If you wanted to do a little, go to both museums, MoCA and MOSH, that would be a great thing to do, because they have the planetarium there, they have different exhibits there. Next week they have National Geographic is bringing their Earth Explorers exhibit. That doesn't really help you this weekend, but if you wanted to get in there and check out all of the different exhibits, that MOSH is definitely the way to go, and MoCA. And there's also the Alhambra. There's a Fox on the Fairway, which is about love and golf. So if you haven't been to the Alhambra recently, that's another good spot to check out. Then there's Painting with a Twist. They have locations all over the city. And then there's a new one, and I think they have a Painting with a Twist style spot in the Avenues Mall. But inside the Avenues Mall, they also have a Color Me Mine pottery painting.
Is that in the Wine Wrench?
The Wine Wench, I think.
Yes, that too.
Don't ask me how I know the exact name.
I can't drink wine.
Wine Wench.
But
that is a tongue twister.
They do painting classes in the back of it. And
that's
if
a
you're,
fantastic store.
If you're not pregnant, then you can go in there and you can give free samples of any kind of wine slushy that you want. Don't ask me how I know that.
Wine slushy?
A wine slushy. They have wine slushy machines there, and you can ask for any kind of slushy that you want. They have a sangria one that is phenomenal.
I bet.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm sorry I keep talking about drinking, and you're not allowed to.
That's okay.
And there's also a couple other little things. The Jack's is rad. It's a local company. Their 1-year anniversary party is at Hoptinger's. It's a 90s theme party, which I really like. And then at Surf at the Bar on Sunday, they have yoga and brunch. So if you're looking for some good things to do around town, if it's raining, there's plenty of stuff to do. Just hit the Google and find it and look for it.
Yeah, I know they have yoga at Old City at times, too, which is awesome. You get to do yoga, and then you can have some beers after you've cleansed and stretched.
I've heard of beer yoga where you drink beer the entire time while you're doing yoga, which I cannot imagine that that's good on your stomach.
I would think that's very difficult because it's a lot about balance, and drinking will obviously not.
And you're upside down.
If a couple of you have to walk a line, so that doesn't seem
they have
like a great thing.
Goat yoga and dog and cat yoga.
They have a Tom Brady yoga? No, I'm just kidding. That was funny.
Ridiculous.
Made myself laugh.
Well, getting into a little bit more of telling your future, there's ex-NFL player Ricky Williams. I'm sure most of NFL fans will probably remember him, but he is now studying astrology. And do you guys buy into astrology at all?
I do. It's you're going with the fine line. Are you going, like, are you talking about, do I check my horoscope every day?
Yeah, astrology is like your horoscope, and there's several different kinds of astrology. There's like that falls under the umbrella. It's like your zodiac
like
sign,
your soulmate
your earth sign, with the planets, how they were aligned at the exact time of your birth, I guess matters the most when it comes to astrology. I don't really buy a lot into astrology.
I'll tell you the one funny thing, the reason why I really buy into it, especially this year, is right before the new year hit, I checked what my year-long, what's going to be my year-long horoscope, what's the main thing this year. And it said, end of August, beginning of September is going to be a very busy month for you. Very busy time for you. And we didn't know we were pregnant until I found out, and then I was like, oh, whoa. So I look back, I'm like, okay, man. All right, there's something here. I should probably go back and check what it says about everything else, financials,
Because you relate to the things that are right, and you just ignore the things that aren't.
That's just, that's a huge coincidence, or it was written in the stars.
Or they knew that you're heavily involved in football season.
Right.
So that could be it, too.
Turning 37 the end of August. I don't know.
What about you, Lauren? Do you follow astrology at all?
Not at all. The closest thing I come is I'll read my Chinese fortune cookie.
Oh, yeah,
thing,
yeah.
And I don't buy into it, but I do read it. And then I'll keep it if I like it.
Do you ever get mad when you see one you're like, what
Wrong.
does this even mean?
Wrong.
No,
I opened the wrong one.
And then I want somebody else to eat theirs, and then I just get another one. That's why I avoid if I don't like it.
See, with astrology, it's one of like the most, as far as websites are concerned, it's one of the most top searched items.
Yeah.
If you put anything as with astrology in or telling someone's fortune, then people will flock to it. So we have this weird fascination with it. But what brought me sort of to all that is we also, each of us took a personality test, which is what I put a lot more faith into because it has less to do with an astrological sign and more to do with the conditions that you grew up in and sort of the traits that you get from your parents. So anyways, you go to this website called 16personalities.com and you answer a few questions. It takes like 5 minutes to do, so if you've never done it, go do it because it gives you a lot of valuable insight. And I don't have Donna's, but we kind of already read it a little bit earlier during one of the commercial breaks, but I wanted to ask Tyler. So Tyler, if I were to give you this description, which co-host do you think that it belongs to? Extraordinarily caring, social, and popular people, always eager to help.
Always eager to help, so that crosses out. I'll go for both.
Oh, you got it. Good job.
Well, thank you, Tyler.
And you had, Lauren, you had ESFJ.
Right. I did.
That's your profile. What was your profile,
That's
Donna?
mine.
So you guys had the same
We had
exact
the same.
profile. Oh, dang.
So it also could be one and only.
Wow, this is so accurate. It's creepy. It says on the website. So yeah.
Well, famous ESFJs are Bill Clinton, Taylor Swift, Steve Harvey, and Jennifer Lopez. So you guys are all in good company.
I was going to say I want to take Taylor Swift out of there.
Well, there's that.
Steve Harvey with his faux pas that happened.
So you guys only like Jennifer Lopez out of all
I love me some J-Lo, yes.
Well, there's different. There's different. It says it's the second most popular personality type, making up more than 12% of the overall population. For mine, it was I actually have on the opposite spectrum, so there is only 1.8% of the population that is an ENTJ, and so it makes mine more, I guess, one of the rare personality types. But apparently, I'm bold, imaginative, and a strong-willed leader, always willing to find a way or making one, which is
that sounds like you.
Extremely accurate.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of cool to like go through these different personality types and to see what gels well with you and where you find your strengths and your weaknesses, because then it gives you insight into your working relationships, your personal relationships, friendships, family, all that good stuff. And like I said, it takes 5 minutes to take this test. Now they do have like an upgraded version where you could pay a little bit more and get more in depth and like coaching and things like that, but I don't know that how many people do that. But just the basic form of the test is incredible.
Tyler, did you take your personality quiz?
I did, and I got ESTP.
Okay, what's that?
Entrepreneur.
Oh.
Did you read the rest of the description? How accurate do you think?
Individual traits: extroverted, 57% observant, thinking, prospecting, and assertive. I'd say all those pretty much describe me. Like I don't speak unless I feel like I have something to say.
Mm-hmm. So. What were your? Do you see your celebrities that you were like? Because with mine, I think it's at the very bottom where it shows you the bottom of the results list, but it'll tell you which celebrities have the same personality. And me being a Harrison Ford obsessive person, having Harrison Ford as a fellow ENTJ just made my day. And Steve Jobs, Margaret Thatcher, and Franklin D. Roosevelt all had similar personalities to myself.
Jack Nicholson, Eddie Murphy, Madonna, Bruce Willis, Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad. Okay.
That's who you choose?
And Seth Grayson from House of Cards, but I don't really like Seth Grayson.
Jack Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson, he's okay.
Maybe you didn't like him because
Eddie Murphy?
yourself.
I did not like Eddie Murphy.
Housewives, I like her.
So you guys would have a similar personality then.
I think it's
You're
way
such a
less
millennial with the celebrities that you pick out of there. I'm like,
I think it's way less the celebrity part.
I'm not an Eddie Murphy fan.
What? And how do they make these?
I feel like with Eddie Murphy, you either like him or you hate him. You don't fall in the middle with Eddie Murphy.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say they don't like Eddie Murphy.
No, I'm a millennial. I hate a lot of things.
I guess you do.
Just ruining the planet.
I liked certain parts of what it said. that I did agree with as far as things that I can work on, because it told me that I'm very vulnerable to criticism. Now, Donna, we share the same personality according to this, but you're not vulnerable to criticism in the least.
No, you tell me I suck, and okay.
Yeah, and
it doesn't bother me one bit.
If someone critiques me in the least, it takes me a long time to get over it. I dwell on it. I grind on it to try and figure out what I could possibly have done wrong, because I'm the people pleaser type. And so even like the slightest criticism, I'm trying to work on that and realizing that you can't get better unless you get some criticism. But I need it to be constructive criticism versus just plain old like you suck. I could not take that. I don't do that well.
Oh, see, some of mine, I don't know that there's any fixing with my weaknesses. It says stubborn and dominant, impatient, arrogant, poor handling of emotions, cold and ruthless. I have heard cold and ruthless a lot of times.
I think both those strengths and weaknesses like work. Yeah.
But I mean, I think you can always try. By the way, solo home run for the Braves. Way to go, Willie Adamez, who was actually promoted today because Joey Wendell is on paternity leave. His wife had a baby this morning. So I think that's kind of cool that the athletes do get paternity leave. I know people had an issue when Daniel Murphy went on paternity leave for the Nats, but that's just plain silly.
Yeah, sorry. Kind of need the husbands there.
Yeah,
absolutely. Be nice.
I think the worried about social status, that one, Donna's, again, like, this is not me at all. That is
you might need to take yours over again.
Yeah.
I might need to. There's questions I was confused
about. You probably should wait until after you have the baby.
Well, this one, like, for instance, this one I sat and I stared at for a while. A question, being organized is more important to you than being adaptable. I'm like, how do I answer that? I want to be both adaptable and organized.
And the answer is the middle dot.
Yeah. There's no middle dot. There's more of an agree or there's more of a disagree.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The middle dot was grayed out. Well, you have to choose. I'm like slightly more towards one.
Some of these, I'm like, I don't understand.
Donna wants to choose the all of the above answer to the question. But last week we talked about how social media to me can at times be negative because I will get jealous if I see people doing, like last week I had a bunch of friends go to Key West, right? And so in the middle of a work day, I'm seeing them having a blast, like playing beer pong in Key West. And so immediately I'm jealous that they're living life that's more fun than the life I'm living. And that affects me. But Donna, we have the same personality, but that doesn't affect you in the least.
No, see, I need to take this over again. I'm confused.
I think it was the hormones.
See, with me, I thought that mine was so accurate that I keep it bookmarked on my phone, and anytime I'm going through like a challenge in like a friendship or even the workplace or anything like that, I'll go back and I'll read my weaknesses, and then I'll try to figure out how to fix it, because it goes back to that you'll find a way or you'll make one. I've always been like that.
Yeah, and I've certainly always been, how it says, like strong sense of duty, and you have your moral compass tied to traditions and things like that, and certainly the background of Catholicism will root you to believe like this is correct, this is incorrect, and there is no middle ground. And so you learn stuff obviously as you get older that there are gray issues. I remember in high school we had to write a paper, and it was, if your spouse were to cheat on you, would you forgive them? And my paper was very short, and it said absolutely not. My spouse has wronged me, and in no possible way, shape, or form would I forgive that person. And my religion teacher wrote on there, like, this is not the way that you're supposed to think, and it was like, but this is how you've trained us in religion class, right? And so I think you can grow and change as you learn that circumstances are not always one way or the other. So just a little food for thought there, guys. You can change too. If I can change,
no, listen, there ain't.
Forgive, you can.
There's a lot of good things on my personality
that
I'm more than happy with. Being associated with Steve Jobs and Franklin Roosevelt, I think that's good company to be in. But there's always little stuff.
Well,
that you
I'm
can work
retaking
on.
mine right now. So
all right, there you go. Well,
because I disagree with what it
says. Something different.
We're gonna get it right.
We're also going to chat with Savannah Foster, the Vice President of Client Relations for Athletes First, and also an NFL agent for athletes. So we're going to talk to her and get into how difficult it was to gain respect in a field that's male dominated. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dream Finders Homes on 92.5 FM.
I still don't know how to answer that question.
Brady Quinn is a good one.
So
every time I see that handsome man on the television.
I saw that. Yeah, I think Joe Montana was cuter than Steve Young back in the day.
Cute at all.
Every time I see, he's distracting. If I see him on like a CBS pregame coverage or breaking down a game, I don't even listen to what he's saying. I'm just staring
I didn't see anywhere, at least nowhere I could find, that say that she's represents Jalen Ramsey? Is it Athletes First? So she's not his actual agent?
Yeah, she's not his actual
Okay.
agent. She just works with him.
Okay. By the way, on the website, no, never mind, I found it. That's right. I just had to click somewhere else.
Donna is
I
still
might
taking
have
her quiz.
answered disagree
I'm
when
so
I should have
impressed
been
you
like
took
complete
yours.
agree. Is what I'm thinking.
I'm so impressed you took your quiz.
I just did it like 10 minutes ago. I knew it was coming up in the
Well
outline.
done. I think Dan and Jeff should take theirs.
And making sure no one gets upset.
That would.
I feel like me and
Yeah.
Jeff would be similar, and like Dan would like fall similar, like between. I don't know. What would Dan's be?
My brother sent us like our group. We have a
No
group
good
text
at
of like 8 people, and he sent it to everybody because he wanted
Teach me how
everybody
to
to
figure out
take
what
it,
they're asking.
and then that way he would know how to
Maybe
deal
I
with
could
them.
No,
As far as their personality
and
type.
making sure no one gets upset. I would rather have nobody get
Like a
upset.
scouting or
So
something.
that's why. But not on our show. See, that's interesting. You'd rather win
That's
a
what I'm
debate on
saying.
our
Like a
show.
lot of this is like hypothetical. Well, what's the debate? If you're gonna sit here and debate me that Tom Hanks isn't good, then you're gonna lose, and I don't care what you think.
I think,
But if you want to debate me something else, that's
well,
fine.
I think think of an actual debate, like in
Like
a debate,
politics, I'm not partaking in. You
right,
know,
but in something that you care about, then
that's what I'm saying. If you want to debate me about Tom Hanks, I don't care what you think. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like,
you don't
winning a
care if you make the
debate-
person upset.
No, because no one is better than Tom Hanks.
So that's what I'm saying. I think you don't care as
No,
much
Harrison
about
Ford is
making
better.
No,
people
see, we'll
upset.
debate this one. I'm not talking about looks.
Let's go.
I'm not talking about looks.
Yeah.
Looks,
You don't
personality.
care then if you make somebody upset.
Handsomeness.
You do care about winning the debate. And I never care if I win the debate as long as the person doesn't get upset.
Yeah, I guess. I'll have to go with how I am on the show then, I guess. Although I think
Because when else are you debating in real
I know,
life?
I'm not
That's
debating
what I
in
mean.
real life, yeah. All right.
Agree.
I'm going to go with the middle agree.
Like mine on here says,
you often feel as if you have to justify yourself to other people.
discussing scientific theories or debating European politics is not likely to capture your interest.
Yeah, no.
My eyes
Bingo.
glazed over when people
Bingo.
start talking about any of that kind of stuff. So I was like, yep, that's correct.
Dude, that mute button on Twitter has been my favorite thing.
Ooh,
Anytime-
Instagram's getting a mute button.
Are they?
Yes.
Anytime I see anything political, I'm like, mute you, mute,
But
mute,
why
mute.
would you care if Instagram has a mute button?
I don't want
If
it. There's
they're
certain
private, you can't follow them again.
you can
Because they don't know
mute
if you unfollow
the
them.
you can mute this unless you have the app. There's apps that tell you like who unfollows you.
You do not
For
mind
real?
being
Oh, yeah.
the center of attention.
Oh my gosh, people
I don't mind
on
that.
their hands.
You consider
Well, it's good for a business perspective because you want to see if you posted something, if you saw a significant follower
Gotcha.
drop off, then you can probably.
Should I call it landline or cell?
your travel.
She said you can call either.
Really well thought out.
But she's gonna be in the office, so you can try her landline maybe first.
In the office?
Well, she's West Coast.
Oh, that's right. It said Orange County, and I thought Florida, but it's Orange County,
Oh.
West Coast.
No, but the mute button is apparently
No,
supposed to work
disagree.
for stories and in the feed. No word if it's gonna work for like DMs or for comments. I would love it for comments because there are people that comment on all of my photos or like 20 photos in a row, and it's just creepy, and I don't want to see it. So I would mute them immediately.
I don't want them to even be able to see a photo, nor comment on a photo.
I mean, I just want them to click the traffic, click my links to my stuff.
In a discussion, truth should be more important than people's sensitivities. What's the discussion?
Let's go.
Truth
with,
should always be more important than people's sensitivities.
But if it's you're gonna tell me
go
about,
something with Michelle, like
are you gonna talk to me about your kids throwing,
Yeah.
like or some,
Yeah.
like that's what I'm like. There's times where you just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, sometimes it's best to keep your mouth shut, but more times than not.
So truth, I'm gonna go with. I slightly disagree with that one. You're really worried about how your actions affect other people. You rarely worry.
We'll probably do a hard out here so we can start the NBA right at the top.
perfect. We probably won't keep her the entire segment, but what time do you think you want the heart out? 8:50 what?
54.
54. Okay.
Yeah, because we have 5.
All right, so we can cut her at like 51, and we'll still have a few minutes. 52.
Give you,
I mean, not that it matters to you, as long as we're out one way or the other.
Come back.
Girls just want to talk football. More helmets and heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
Now on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Live from Leave, Don Murphy, and I'm Lauren Brooks with you as we welcome in Savannah Foster. Joining us from Athletes First. Savannah, how are you? I would say this evening East Coast, afternoon West Coast. We are fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. So when it comes to Athletes First, how tough was it to become a part of this male-dominated field and break into becoming a sports agent?
Well, obviously it's been a path and an adventure, definitely kind of different for a female, but I started off here 10 years ago as a receptionist and was doing that, loving it, loving what I do, being around the guys, doing this sort of work, and then I realized very quickly that, I think I had a little bit more of a feeling and had the ability to do a little bit more. So I've been working my way up since then, was an assistant for a little bit, and then obviously now I'm a vice president, head of my department, which has been quite a journey to get here, but I've loved every second of it.
Now, along your journey, do you find that there's been times where it's been a lot easier for you being a female, or a lot harder for you?
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely advantages to being a female, because I feel like the players themselves come to me directly with issues that they would typically go to a man with, and maybe they were embarrassed or something kind of personal or private. I think that kind of maternal instinct, they can kind of sense that, and I'm a little bit more passionate, compassionate than some of the men would be, I think, in different situations. So I think there's definitely some advantages to it, have been in my experience, certainly.
Savannah, you mentioned in the email to us that according to the NFL Players Association, 795 certified agents encompass all of the United States, but only 41 of them are female. Why do you think that there's such a large discrepancy?
I think, honestly, people just don't, or a lot of women don't realize that it's a path that they can take. I always wanted to be an NFL agent, but I think until I started working in the industry, I didn't really think that was an attainable goal, simply because I think it's difficult to know the right path to take to get here, because there's not any one particular way. So to be a certified NFL agent, you have to have a graduate degree and then pass the agent seminar, or the agent exam, which is given at the seminar each summer. So it's a little bit of an extensive background check and all these things you have to do to cross off the list, but the steps themselves are not that difficult. I just think most people probably don't realize what you have to do to get there. It's not like you can just apply online and be done. It's a little bit of an adventure to figure out how to get to where you need to be.
Do you network with the other female sports agents?
I haven't as much. I've started trying to do that a little bit more recently. At the Super Bowl, there's always a women the football industry event, and of course, they always have appearances and things with the players. I've never been able to make it. I was hoping to do that this year, but I actually been speaking at a couple panels, especially here in Southern California. I'm doing another one in November. It's all women in sports. So I'm hoping to network a little bit more internally with the football agents as well. I've met a couple, but not nearly as many as I'd like to.
What is the one aspect of your job that you cherish the most?
Honestly, I think my favorite thing that I cherish the most about being an NFL agent is getting to see the players kind of raw and fresh and young from college, and seeing them grow into family men and men who have their own, philanthropies and foundations, and kind of find themselves and find ways to give back to the world. I think it's really fulfilling to be able to see that growth.
You spent 10 years as an NFL agent or in the agent industry. What's been the biggest pinch yourself moment?
For me personally, I think my biggest pinch myself moment was right after the Super Bowl 50. I was working with Von Miller at the time, who was named Super Bowl MVP. So that was really amazing opportunity for me personally, because I was able to go with him on his whole journey post Super Bowl. So being a part of, he did Dancing with the Stars, Saturday Night Live, and did the Kanye fashion show, and it was a real whirlwind. And it was really cool to be able to find myself in that situation. I pinched myself every single day for at least 4 months, because we were globetrotting everywhere, going all over the country and making appearances and things. And being by his side and kind of being a support for him during that time, I was like, yeah, this is what it's all about. This is why I worked so hard to get here.
Savannah, I'm a diehard country music fan, and you also got to go to the Academy of Country Music Awards. For someone who For someone who's from Kentucky, that had to be
Louisville,
incredibly
Kentucky.
amazing.
Oh, it was unbelievable. And, you know, I mean, of course, we're backstage, and I was sitting with Vaughn in the little green room before he went out. He presented an award. And we're sitting in the back, and it's just everybody I've always dreamed of getting to meet. Never thought I'd ever have an opportunity. You know, I mean, Tim McGraw's there, Faith Hill, all these people, of course, that I've idolized for years, sitting in the same room with me. And I'm like, this is it. This is real life. I was totally geeking out, but trying to keep it under control. But then we go out into the audience, and we had to walk across the stage to get to our seats. And we're third row in the middle of all this. It was just such a surreal experience. It was unbelievable.
In the words of
the rest of my life.
In the words of Faith Hill, just breathe.
Oh my gosh, exactly. You got to. I mean, that's all you can do. You got to remind yourself of that.
Well, so you go to events like that, but being around all the sports athletes all the time, is there an athlete that has taken your breath away that you have been like, oh, I don't know if these words are coming out correctly?
You mean the players being in a negative way?
No, like you were so in awe.
Flabbergasted.
You know what? I've actually never had that happen personally, you know, dealing with the players, thank goodness. But I do think there are certain situations where I'm like, is this really happening right now? You know, and like you mentioned, I have to kind of sit back and take a breath, like, all right, and then you just step back up and go back into that situation. But no, luckily I've never been in that position. But I think there's always the propensity that it could happen.
I've seen a few companies in sports who are starting to put an emphasis on the brand of an athlete themselves rather than sort of limiting them to the sport that they play. And it sort of seems like your company, Athletes First, is doing the same thing by focusing not on just contracts but marketing and training too. Why do you think that those are so important to the success of an athlete?
Yeah, I mean, I think the players are so focused on trying to be more well-rounded now, especially than they have even in the past, because the careers are so short. You know, I mean, I think the typical career for a player, average career, is 3-4 years. So I think understanding that, going into it, knowing how short-lived it can be. You know, I mean, where there's always the possibility of injuries or, you know, something really serious or career-ending that can happen in the flash of an eye. So I think it's having that realization that players want to kind of become more well-rounded and have their feet in a lot of different things so they can have other possibilities once their playing careers are over.
What's the most difficult part about working with athletes?
I think the most difficult thing for me is just the time management because, you know, it's literally 24/7, which is absolutely amazing. I'm totally fine with doing it. But up until the past year or so, I would, you know, walk out of dinners to make phone calls and, you know, leave my friend's house early to go home and do emails, things like that. So it's just, for me, it's been kind of trying to prioritize the work-life balance a little bit better. But, I mean, just there's always something going on, which is great and it's super exciting. But I think that's been the most difficult thing for me, kind of trying to keep it all in perspective. Because it is. I mean, it never ends. There's always something going on.
Now, earlier you did say that you've always wanted to be a sports agent. Is there a next step for you, though? Is there something else you want to do?
No, you know what? I really love what I do, and I want to keep growing in this area. I would love to have some more players of my own. Right now, I'm currently only on contract with one player who's in the NFL. So eventually I would love to grow that, obviously, and have 3 or 4 first-round picks of my own under my belt. I'm working towards that. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately just keep growing in the same direction that I'm going and keep doing what I'm doing because I really do love it.
Savannah Foster, Vice President of Client Relations and a certified NFL agent at Athletes First. Savannah, do you have a typical day in the office? Or is it all crazy?
Well, it is pretty crazy. Well, this time of year is not as bad as the fall, obviously. Or even, we always talk about it here at work because what we do is so cyclical. You know, so we're in the office every day from 9 to 6. But summers are a little bit slower. When the guys are in training camp, we can actually go out for lunch and have a little bit of a normal life because they're not able to phone or do anything outside of work. But, yeah, no, I mean, every day has a little bit of something different. Right now, obviously, the players are in OTAs and kind of gearing up for season, so kind of taking their last-minute trips with their families and kind of getting all their affairs in order, moving to new cities. You know, a lot of players got traded or picked up at different teams in the off-season, so we're dealing with a lot of that right now. But then once season gets rolling, you know, it's pretty basic. Every day we'll come in and get to work, and once the contracts are all underway, we just deal with the day-to-day client needs. So whether he needs new cleats or a second opinion on a medical, you know, something that's going on with an injury, we'll deal with those sorts of things as they come.
And Savannah, as far as advice you would give to a young woman who's not sure exactly what career path she wants to take, but she knows she wants to work in sports, what would that be?
Yeah, say take any opportunity that you can find. Like I mentioned, for myself, I found this opportunity as a receptionist, even though I had been a year in law school and felt a little bit overqualified for it at the time. I thought it was a great opportunity to kind of network and get my foot in the door and kind of let the agents and all of the management know who I was as a person and what I'm capable of doing. And if I hadn't taken that chance, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So I think it's just take any and every opportunity you find, even if you think it's not exactly what you want, because who knows what it can grow into eventually.
Absolutely great advice. All right, well, Savannah, thank you so much for joining us, and certainly good luck as training camp gets rolling around in the next couple months.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Savannah.
I'm sure that with her, knowledge and expertise growing, she will get more and more athletes to join her team. That's got to be just such a crazy fun yet crazy busy job.
Demanding, I can imagine.
She was great.
Yeah, it's also always cool to hear from the perspective of the NFL agent, because I mean you sort of just think it's all contracts, but I think with a lot of these companies, especially we talked a few months ago about Maverick Carter, who is pretty much LeBron James' right-hand man. He's now started up another NFL agency, or not NFL agency, but a brand awareness company, because he wants athletes to be known more than just for their athletic play. So Maverick Carter is setting up this company to help athletes with their creatives, graphic design, even like movie production, show production, script writing, things like that, if they want to expand their brand along in addition to just playing a sport.
So I have a random question.
By all means.
Random.
Have you finished your personality test, by the way, Miss
I did, and it still came out the same.
Okay.
So yeah, you're...
I don't. I'll take it after I have the baby.
There you go.
I don't watch The Bachelor or Bachelorette. Do either of you?
No.
I've watched parts of, usually just the last episode of both.
I've watched like the VH1 shows back in the day.
Did you see that
for the Love of Ray J?
Did you see that the guys were announced for who are going to be participating in The Bachelorette?
No.
I think I saw something on Twitter about it.
And Clay Harbor.
Oh, okay.
Former Jaguar will be one of the guys. Yeah. So I didn't know if would that make you watch it because you kind of want to cheer for
I mean, that show to me is one of those where I can watch without ever having to think for even a half a second. Like, it's pure entertainment.
Right.
There's no real drama, so to speak. I guess there can be at times with some people crying.
With all the girls.
Yeah, it's usually
the guys
more the Bachelor.
too. I think you have to be a freak in order to be invited to those shows. You're not invited on there because you're sane.
All right, Clay Harbor.
It's a show that I can watch, like, non-Jaguars. Like, as soon as football season was over, that was a show that Brad and I would watch some just to, like, purely kind of laugh and relax. There's no, like, oh, I have to watch this every week. You don't. You can pick it up whenever you want. You can watch 5 minutes of it and you're good. Like, it's not something that you have to be obsessed with in the least.
Right.
Earlier we talked about Buck Showalter and whether or not it was rude that he, kind of made the pitching change a little too early.
Right.
So the one question I wanted y'all to answer is, what's the one thing that you feel most impatient when it's going on around you?
Driving.
Yep.
Driving is my big one. If I'm waiting to turn and you're coming down the highway and you don't put your blinker on, I'm furious. Furious. It lights me up inside.
There's a lot of things.
In a good way.
There's a lot of things about driving. I'm a very patient person, but when I get in a car, I'm a different personality. So one of those 16 personalities shows up when I get into the car, because it is not a happy Donna.
I would say driving for sure. I have moments, especially if I'm turning left at a red turn light and the person in front of me is on their phone or just not paying attention.
Right.
I love to honk. But the one thing that makes me more impatient than anything else, if I'm in line to use the women's restroom at a concert or a football game, and there are people in front of me who take forever, and it's not like
how hard is it to go in, pee, and get out, right?
Right. Well, especially like if groups of girls will go in and you can tell they're like primping.
Right.
I am so impatient. I'm like, do you not understand that everyone in this line really has to go? Because you don't leave a football game or a concert because you just kind of have to go. Like, you only go when you absolutely have to go. It's a must need. Like, get in and get out and get on with your life. Yeah, and I usually will make comments like, let's go.
There's been times at sporting events back when I was much younger, I would just go in the men's room. I'm like, screw you, ladies. I'm done.
School buses are another thing for me that make me infuriated on the road.
Why?
Just because they stop in the middle of the highway and they could easily just pull into like the complex, or no, you can it's safer for the kids if you pull into the apartment. I would think that it would be safer for the kids if you pull into the apartment complex. Wait, well, if you're, for example, there's a St. John's Bluff. There is an apartment complex that is, for some reason, I seem to get stuck behind a bus all the time on this road, and instead of pulling into the apartment complex, they stop in the middle of the highway and they make everybody else wait for them when they could have just pulled into the parking lot, dropped everybody off, and then just scooted on around and then go about your day.
Blythe hates children.
Yes.
School buses. I hate school buses.
Next up is I hate crying babies on planes.
That too.
I hate crying babies anywhere.
Listen, I grew up with an at-home daycare, so I'm used to crying babies. But anyway, on a plane, bye.
You can't throw them out the window.
You can feed them a little whiskey or something.
All right, that is a wrap for us. Coming up next, you're going to hear Hacker After Dark with Andrew Gibson. And, of course, over on 1010 AM, you can hear some NBA going on. That is going to be it for us on a Tuesday night. Thanks so much to our producer, Tyler Devitt. Thanks to 16 Personalities for providing lots of entertainment for tonight's show. And for Blythe Bromley and Donna Murphy, I'm Lauren Brooks. Enjoy your evening.
Whatever personality I am. I'm so confused. I agree. Is that bad, I guess? With the things that say my weakness, I'm like, no, it's not a weakness.
Wrong.
Mine.
Wrong.
I guess that's my weakness, that I don't like the weaknesses.
Well, it could just be honestly that you're in between.
I must be answering stuff wrong.
You're in between certain.
Well, you took it twice and you got the same.
I know,
but if she's answering like
I have,
if she doesn't feel like the outside dots, if she feels like the inside dots, and those
I'm confused.
Don't lean them, like it may not be the right personality.
Bye guys, we'll be back here next Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Go Jacksonville.